Peace, light, and love. It's your girl, Conscious Queen. Hope all is well. And I'm tapping in with you at the time of the new moon solar eclipse. So, this new moon is really special. I mean, this is not the first eclipse we had this year. Um, Definitely want to go back and check out the super moon video from the Aries full moon because that eclipse energy is going to extend as well. Usually eclipse energy extends for a year, but what I learned from a awesome astrologer, Molly McCord, what I learned is that each minute of an eclipse is equal to a year of that energy. So, since this eclipse was 5 minutes, this energy will extend for 5 years. So, with that being said, you can always come back and touch up on the energy. I'm pretty much gonna go over the house that the solar eclipse is in. I also want to know that this is a solar eclipse. So, um, solar energy is connected to the masculine energy as well as, fathers, because the sun in the chart represents the father. So, definitely, there will definitely be masculine energy highlighted for the next 5 or so years. Okay. Now, the last eclipse was a super moon, meaning that the moon was really close to the earth. So that is in connection to um, the feminine and the mother. So we also have a Taurus lunar eclipse coming up. And this lunar eclipse, it's lunar, so it's connected to our emotions. It's connected to things that is deeply hidden within us, um, secrets, our fears and things like that. So usually, when there's an eclipse, something is subtracted from our life. And with this energy being in Taurus, this is connected to the second house. So there could be a loss of things, material things, okay? Um, as well as our security, something about a home, our money, those kind of things will be highlighted during the full moon lunar eclipse. So we definitely want to research this energy further, because with this being a full moon, that means we need to go back to the time of the new moon in Taurus, or the last new moon eclipse in Taurus. But this new moon is a solar eclipse. So with it being a new energy, it's hidden, it's not seen, okay? And this hidden energy is in connection to masculine energy, males and the fathers, okay? So this energy, as it waxes, is going to culminate um, for an extension of years. So definitely come back and check back and look at the house that this energy is in. That's fine. Okay. So starting with Gemini. Jean, close the door. So for Gemini, this solar eclipse energy is in connection with Mercury, okay, and the South Node. Now, all of this energy is in the fifth house, which is the house of children. All right. So, Gemini, Mercury is your ruler. Okay. Mercury is in conjunction, is connection to the sun and the south node. So, with Mercury being close to the sun, um, as I have learned from other astrologers, Mercury is burned by the sun. And so this communication is in connection to males, to the masculine. And this is the house of children. So there could be something here about fathers and communication with their children. Okay. Um Now Mercury, Gemini, rules siblings as well as the past. Okay. And the past, what I mean when I say the past, I mean like people from your childhood, um people you went to school with, things like that. You also have the south node here, so something from the past in connection to this fifth house may come up for you. Now the fifth house, like I said, it's the house of children. It's also the house of pregnancy. It's the house of play and entertainers. Your children could be really chatty at this time, and there could be a lot of play amongst your children. All right. There could also be some communication about a pregnancy, or you could be manifesting one because Gemini, you rule the magician. Okay. With Mercury in the fifth house, there could be some romantic communication. Okay. Um, Talks of love and sex, or someone could be talking sweet to you. Um, there could also be a lot of flirting. There could be rumors about a child or a pregnancy as well. There could also be a lot of joking and just playful, fun communication.
What's today?
Why?
I don't know.
It's Saturday. So, the fifth house is also the house of comedians and entertainers. So there could be some communication and gossip about entertainers. Mercury in the fifth house is a house of joy and play. So with Mercury in the fifth house, there could be a lot of uplifting, playful communication. The Sun and Mercury in the fifth house is squared to Pluto in the eighth house. So Pluto is a heavy energy, okay? Um, and the eighth house is the house of secrets, sex, codependency. Um, so there could be some secrets about a pregnancy or children. Pluto in Capricorn in the eighth house could also be about a father or a business. There could be something about your children's father. There could be some secrets about the father of a child or the death of a father or an inheritance from a father. Um, did I say that Pluto in the eighth house could be about a business? So it could be, and Pluto in Capricorn is also the government. So when it comes with that square to the fifth house, this could be like a dependence on the government when in connection to your children. Okay. Um, there could be like some jealousy and obsession here. There could be some kind of crisis surrounding a child or trauma surrounding a child. Wait,
I need a diaper.
For what?
She said she liked it.
He just got changed. Now, bye-bye. Pluto in Capricorn in the 8th house could very well be death of a parent, okay? So this square is in the house of children. So, children could be having a hard time dealing with the death of a parent, okay? Um, there could also be a father entangled in a marriage. Sorry, I just tore this string out my pants. Or there could be something about a father's money or a father's wife or something like that. This is like an entanglement in a marriage, okay? Um, there could also be a crisis or some kind of trauma surrounding a father, or there could be some control issues with the father, especially with Pluto here, because Pluto is controlling. All right. There could also be some secrets about sex as well in connection to a father. Okay, so there could be some hidden truths about the father of a child. Um, the 5th house in a square to the 8th house, there could be some fear instilled in children, or children keeping secrets about sex, or a death of a parent or something. The 8th house is also other people's money. So with the 5th house being the house of entertainers, there could be scams for money in connection with entertainers. There could also be reproductive issues with a pregnancy, or someone could be trying to get pregnant. Okay, so like fertility treatments and things like that. Um, there could also be some codependent energy on children. Like if your children if you get money from the government for a child, or like child receiving child support, um, it's like basically receiving their support from a parent when it comes down to your children. All right. Um, Pluto in Capricorn, the 8th house, it could very well be connected to the government. All right. The government could be investigating like sex or death surrounding a child. Um, there could also be jealousy of children or pregnancy as well with this 8th house square to the 5th house. Yeah, definitely could be some jealousy here. Um, Also, with Pluto and Capricorn in the 8th house, some people could be using sex and death as a means of control. Okay. So yeah, this is definitely a traumatic and a crisis reading house. But I mean, you could very well be receiving support from your parents or your grandparents when it comes down to your children. Okay. So yeah, that is what I have for you, Gemini. Oh, also with this 5th house square to the 8th house, there could be like some kind of crisis about sex, or some secrets around sex, or something like that. Yeah, it's like it's like sex could be an issue, or sex and pregnancy. You know, um, this energy is also associated with like abortions as well. With Pluto and Capricorn in the 8th house in the square to the 5th house, there could be something here about abortions when it comes down to a pregnancy. Okay, especially and it could have caused a crisis, or it could have been quite traumatic, you know, having to abort a pregnancy. So I can only imagine. Well, yeah, I can only imagine. Um, but Pluto and Capricorn, the 8th house, square to the 5th house. Um, there's definitely some parental issues here. There's some control issues here and some secrets here as well. Sex could be in the mix, but like I said, you could very well be receiving support from parents or grandparents or the government or something like that when it comes down to your kids. And with this Pluto in Capricorn, the 8th house, like this could be something about government control as well. Like, you know, I don't know, like it could be something with the government and your money, or like power issues when it comes to the government. This is some really deep, heavy energy. Um, what is the term I'm looking for? Um, like like dirty law enforcement, those that play dirty. You know what I mean? But I mean, the 8th house is definitely the house of a death. Okay, and it could be a father. There could be some kind of issue with inheritance or a will in connection to a death for children. Like, okay, these kids need things, and maybe a parent died and didn't leave anything for their children. Um, but this is some heavy energy with Pluto and Capricorn in the 8th house. Um, yeah, some secrets about a father or something like that. Um, or you could need support from a father, or your father could be supporting you, or something like that. Or maybe there's an investigation in connection to the government when it comes down to children. This can also be like sex with somebody older. I know I saw like a teacher was supposed to be pregnant by a 13-year-old, and it was like one of her students that she was having sex with. So, Pluto and Capricorn in the 8th house could definitely be someone older when it comes down to sex with children. So this is some very heavy energy. All right. But that is what I have for Gemini. All right. Now for Taurus. This solar eclipse is conjunct to Mercury and the South Node, and it's in your 6th house. And it is in a square to Pluto and Capricorn in your 9th house. So Pluto is in your house of spiritual beliefs. This is also a house of travel. Your health could be affected by travel. With Pluto in the 9th house, there could be something here about old people or elders, so to say. The 6th house is your health, and it's the house of work. Your routine as well. There could be something about the government and travel. There could be legalities and lawsuits as well. Pluto in the 9th house could be connected to a parent. Your parent could have something to do with travel. Pluto in the 9th house could highlight a transformation in spirituality. There could also be a spiritual business that interferes with your work or routine, or vice versa. There could be legal issues that interfere with work. Or you could need a break from work. Like you work so hard, maybe you're making, plans for a vacation, you know. There's also something here with the government and travel. Okay, your health could be affected by travel, or some people could travel for work. The solar eclipse in the sixth house is also pets. There could be something that come up at your job, or something here about your job. Your health and routine is highlighted for you at this time. So definitely be mindful of your health and how you take care of yourself. Your routine may change, or you know, yeah, your routine. The sixth house is also the house of hard work. Pluto in the ninth house is also business loans, credit, student loans, financial and learning institutions, underwriters, insurance, colleges, higher learning and education, scammers and foreigners, etc. Um, so there could be something here about credit, credit issues, or something with the student loans, or if you got other loans out, consolidation. There could be something about your credit. So be mindful of, you know, running up your credit card. Okay. So, Pluto and Capricorn in the ninth house is also child support. And this is also a house of like social organizations and cults, and secret organizations, clubs, and things like that. There could also be government control, or people using the government or spirituality as a means to control people. Pluto and Capricorn in the ninth house, like I said, something here with government and travel. All right. Um, there could definitely be, a lot of parents traveling with their children. There might be, because this is a house of like immigration and immigrants. So there could be, like they could have a hard time finding work. Okay. They probably have to work really hard. Maybe they were slaves, or something like that, made to be slaves, because the sixth house is the house of slavery. Pluto and Capricorn in the ninth house is also like global organizations and control. You know how they was talking about the new world order and stuff like that. And I think I've heard this before, like, well, we already heard like the world being under one banking system, like the Federal Reserve. Um, but there could also be some things here about government. The military is seen here in the ninth house as well. So, yeah, there could be an issue with their health, or how they groom and take care of themselves, their routine. And like I said, hard work as well. Also, some people's routine or their way of life could contradict their spiritual beliefs. All right. And that is what I have for Taurus. All right. And for Aries. So, Aries, this solar eclipse conjunct Mercury is in your seventh house. All right. So, this solar energy is primarily in your house of partnership, in your marriage. Okay. You got the sun here, you got Mercury, and you have the South Node. So there could be some things from the past that come up for you in regards to your marriage. All right, there could be some gossip about your marriage or some communication about your marriage. And you could be spending a lot of time communicating with your partner. All right, there could also be talks of marriage. You could be spending time communicating with your partner. All right, like I said, there could be gossip about your marriage. The solar eclipse in the seventh house is in a trine to the fifth house and the 11th house. So this is marriage in connection to your children and your friends. So this is where your energy is pretty much extended, Aries. And this solar eclipse in the seventh house is square to Pluto in the 10th house, which is your parent. The 10th house is also the world, what you put out there and how people see you. So with the seventh house being in square to your 10th house, it's like, you know, you're married, but you could be putting up, sexy pictures. You could be posting stuff like you're single. You could be always posting yourself alone. And you have a lot of people that's inboxing you, that's interested in you, and you're like, hey, I'm in a partnership. I'm married. Um, so your status and your reputation as well is in the square to your seventh house. So it's like, is your marriage, you know, I guess the 10th house is the image that you give off to people, and the question is, I guess, is like, is your marriage, um, is it in connection to your, like, how does it coincide with your image or your status? Um, Yeah, because the 10th house is your status and your reputation, you know. And you have Saturn in Pisces in your 12th house, you know. Um so it's like, Aries, you're beautiful, and it's like how you put yourself out there, how the world sees you, how does that um coincides with your marriage. There's also a square here with, your 10th house could be a parent. So it could be a father or it could be a mother. But the 10th house is primarily the father. So there could be some kind of conflict when it comes down to your marriage and your father. Your father may not like your spouse, or your spouse may not like your father. You know, there could also be, because the 10th house is, it could be connected to a business or your boss as well, you know. Um, so it's like your legacy, your reputation, you know. Like, of course, you don't want to be out here, you know, looking like a fool. You don't want to be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like you looking all good and it's like, okay, you need to be locked down. You know what I mean? You need to be tied down because it's like, hey, there's plenty of people that want me. There's plenty of people that snatch me up. So you need to, like, hey, the shot clock. Okay. So, yeah, that is what I have for you, Aries. Not too much, not too extensive. Pretty cut and dry. So, I will see you all at the time of the full moon lunar eclipse. Peace.